to get the problem fixed, and I'm going to certainly talk to him about it and give it a try.
Mike, we're really upset. Everybody is blaming the tenants. All we're doing is using the thermostats for their design purpose. When it's hot, we turn them down. When it's cold, we turn them up. Now we're finding out that probably the building wasn't built properly.
Well, I understand that, but everybody seems to feel that putting lock boxes on the thermostats and rebuilding the duct system is going to solve the problem and give you the kind of office you thought you were going to get in the first place. I realize that this rebuilding is going to be disruptive to you and the other tenants in the building, but I think you have to look instead at what the alternative is, and for you, that's finding alternative space for 3 floors of lawyers, moving out. I don't know how you'd ever calculate what the damages are, and the bottom line, John, is you as a litigator know that taking this thing to trial is going to take years, is going to give you an uncertain result. I mean, the whole thing is got to be unsatisfactory to you, so that's the alternative you're faced with.
Mike, this is my first mediation, and I'm really relying on you to keep everything we say in confidence. Can I rely on that?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I have thought somewhat of these alternatives, and you're quite correct. It would be very disruptive to our practice to have to move everybody out. It would be very expensive to litigate, and I don't know what the result would be, how effective it would be. But if we're going to continue to pay the rent, if we're going to be suffering the disruption of having the workers come in there and fix this thing, if we're going to put lock boxes on there, we have to have a bottom line on behalf of these tenants. And our bottom line is that within 30 days, once they get started to fix this thing, they have to have it done. Now, do you think you can convince them of that?
Well, I think you're certainly moving in the right direction, and I'll present it especially to Baker, who's the contractor, to see if that's a schedule that he can live with. Do you speak for all the tenants, by the way?
Yes, Mike. I called AAA today and confirmed that.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, then why don't you step out and ask Bill Baker to come in so I can speak to him in private.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, John. Palmer and Bader are willing to pay for the materials if you'll throw in the labor to install.
Okay, that's a deal. I can make that work. I have one condition I'd like to add, though, Mike. I've got to get started within 10 days. If I can do that, I can do the work without having to pull a crew off another job. So that one condition, why I'm willing to commit to that. Will this settle this darn thing?
I think it ought to, but just to make certain, we need to get everybody in the room to make sure that we have a deal here.
Okay, thanks for all your help, Mike.
I've asked you all to come back together because I'm pleased to say that I think we've got a settlement here, but just to make absolutely certain, I want to read back to you from my notes what I think are the terms of the agreement, and if there's a problem or if I've got something wrong, just please let me know, because we've got to get this right. And then I think I'd like you, Randy, to write it up, and I'd like everyone to initial it when we're through. Now, it's my understanding that the architect and the owner have agreed to pay for the cost of materials necessary to resize the ductwork. They're also going to pay for lock boxes to be installed over the thermostats in the various offices. Mr. Baker's agreed to provide the labor to install the lock boxes, and also agreed to furnish labor to resize the ducts. His condition on that, however, is that he be able to start the work within 10 days, and I think everyone understands that. John, in behalf of the tenants, you've agreed that the tenants will cooperate and allow Mr. Baker to get access and do the work, and of course you understand and the tenants understand that there will be some disruption inevitably, but nevertheless you've agreed to continue paying rent to Mr. Bader. You've also agreed, as I recall, to the installation of the lock boxes on the thermostats. Your condition, however, is that Mr. Baker be out of there within 30 days and the work be finished within 30 days of the date that he starts. Now, is that everyone's understanding of the agreement we've reached here?
Yep. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, but would you give me a moment, please? Certainly.
Yes, I think we have a deal.
Terrific. I think what you've done is pretty remarkable here. You've come together and you've fashioned a solution that is uniquely suited to solve this problem. I think it's something that you couldn't have accomplished in litigation. We've got the problem fixed. We've got a finite time within which to get it fixed. It's going to get done, and I hope that everyone will walk away from this feeling very satisfied with the situation. This kind of thing simply couldn't happen in litigation, and the only reason it was able to happen was that you all came together and made it happen, and I think you're to be congratulated for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bader, I'm glad
All right,
we're not
Mr.
fighting
Fitzpatrick.
anymore. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Terrific.